Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the class. We were discussing diborane. Diborane is a colorless gas. And it also catches fire easily. And it explodes with the dioxygen. That means it is very dangerous when it is exposed to atmosphere. So the bottle must always be kept closed properly. And whenever we want to use the bottle, it must be operated under neutral atmosphere, like in the presence of nitrogen gas or in the presence of helium gas or neon gas. Its melting point is minus 165 degrees centigrade. And its boiling point is minus 93 degrees centigrade. So its melting point and boiling point are well below 0 degrees centigrade. So that is why it is a gas at room temperature. Now we will discuss about the structure of diborane. I expect all of you know the structure of diborane. In diborane, each boron is in sp3 hybridized state. There are 6 hydrogens. Out of the 6 hydrogens, 2 hydrogens will be shared by both the borons. So these are called bridging hydrogens. These are called bridging hydrogens. And the remaining 4 hydrogens, 2 will be placed on this hydrogen, this boron, and the 2 will be placed on this boron. Now these 4 hydrogens and these borons, they are in the plane, and this hydrogen is above the plane, this hydrogen is below the plane. So these 4 hydrogens and the 2 borons, they are in the plane. So this is nearer to you, this is away from you. These 4 hydrogens are called as terminal hydrogens. Terminal hydrogens. Here, the bond angle for other terminal hydrogens and boron is 1. It is the bond length. It is the bond length. Boron hydrogen bond length 1.19 angstroms. Terminal hydrogens will have a bond length of 1.19 angstroms, whereas bridging hydrogens, the boron hydrogen bond length is 1.33 angstroms. So terminal hydrogens are little closer to boron nucleus, whereas bridging hydrogens are little far away from boron, because these bridging hydrogens are shared between the 2 borons. So they will have higher bond length than the terminal hydrogens. Now the bond angle is 97 degrees. Bond angle is 97 degrees, and the distance between the 2 boron atoms is 1.77 angstroms. The distance between 2 boron atoms is 1.77 angstroms. Now, when we look at the orbital picture of diborane structure, diborane borons are sp3 hybridized. Borons are sp3 hybridized. Because it is sp3 hybridized, it will have 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals. Now, each hybrid orbital form a bond with hydrogen. This is 1s orbital of hydrogen. Hydrogen electronic configuration is 1s1. Now, these two sp3 hybrid orbitals, they will form bond with 1s orbital of hydrogen. These two are bridging hydrogens. These are terminal hydrogens. Now, look at these 4 bonds. These 4 bonds are normal bonds because they form between 2 orbitals, 2 nuclei, hydrogen nucleus and boron nucleus. But look at these 2 bridging bonds. They are formed between 3 nuclei, boron nuclei, hydrogen nuclei, and boron nuclei. So these are called 3 atom 2 electron because there exists only 2 electrons. Now, you know the boron electronic configuration, it is 2s2 2p1, the valency electrons. That means boron is having only 3 electrons. So only 3 sp3 hybrid orbitals are having 3 electrons. 4th hybrid orbital is empty. On the other side, this boron will have 3 electrons in these 3 sp3 hybrid orbitals. This orbital is empty. Now this hydrogen will have 1 electron. Hydrogen will have 1 electron. So look at this bond. This bond is between 3 nuclei, but it still contains only 2 electrons. 1 hydrogen, 1 electron from this hydrogen and 1 electron from this boron. Whereas in the other bridging, 1 electron from hydrogen as usual, but another electron from another boron, second boron. So this is what is called a 3 atom or 3 nuclei 2 electron bond. In short, we can also represent the structure of diborane like this. So in diborane, the 2 hydrogens will be in bridging, 4 hydrogens will be terminal hydrogens. The 4 terminal 4 hydrogens and the 2 boron atoms will lie exactly in the plane of the molecule. And the bridging 2 hydrogens will be, one will be above the plane, another will be below the plane. So that means they are in a plane perpendicular to the 4 hydrogens and 2 borons. Now, how do we identify that 2 hydrogens are bridging hydrogens and 4 hydrogens are terminal hydrogens? Now, this can be easily differentiated by methylation reaction. When we methylate diborane with methyl groups, generally we get tetramethyl diborane. That means only 4 methyl groups are placed in the diborane by replacing 4 hydrogens. The 2 hydrogens are not reacting and they are not replaced with the methyl group. They are not replaced with the methyl group. It indicates that the 2 hydrogens are different from the remaining 4 hydrogens. The 4 hydrogens are terminal hydrogens, whereas the 2 hydrogens are bridging hydrogens. They are they are involved in 3-center 2-electron bonds, so they don't easily undergo chemical reactions. So that is why we can easily identify that in diborane 2 hydrogens are bridging hydrogens and the remaining 4 hydrogens are terminal hydrogens. Boranes were first prepared by Alfred Stock. There were different methods. We'll discuss one by one. Boranes can be prepared from magnesium boride, when it is treated with phosphoric acid. Of course, this method gives mixture of boranes. We need to purify them. When we heat this mixture of boranes, diborane can be easily separated. Another way of preparing diborane from magnesium boride is by treating with another acid. In the first case, we are using phosphoric acid. In the second case, we are using HCl. When magnesium boride is treated with HCl, we will get magnesium chloride and tetraborane 10. Second method for diborane preparation is boron sesquioxide can be reduced with hydrogen in presence of aluminum at very high pressures and high temperatures. Under these reaction conditions, boron sesquioxide will be reduced to diborane and aluminum oxide. Another way of reduction is BF3, boron trifluoride, which is again a gas. Boron trifluoride can be converted to diborane when it is treated with sodium hydride at 180 degrees centigrade temperature. So BF3 will be converted to diborane and sodium fluoride. Of course, these methods are used for the laboratory purpose, but we are using gas molecules and very high temperatures and pressures, which are very difficult to maintain in the industry. So when we want to synthesize diborane in the industry, we need to go for even simpler methods. So diborane can be easily obtained in an industry by reacting sodium borohydride with iodine in diglyme we will get diborane plus hydrogen plus sodium iodide. What is diglyme? Diglyme is dimethoxy. This is methoxy. This is dimethoxy glyoximate. These reaction conditions are very simple. We are not using any high temperatures and high pressures. So this is the best method to synthesize diborane gas in the laboratory. Alternatively, we can also synthesize diborane by reducing boron trifluoride. Of course, boron trifluoride is again a gas, but it is unstable in its native state. So what we will do, we will form stable complexes with Lewis acids. Boron trifluoride is a Lewis acid. Diethyl ether is a Lewis base. So we can have stable complexes of boron trifluoride with the other Lewis acid. Sorry, Lewis bases. When boron trifluoride is reduced with sodium borohydride, again in diglyme, we will get diborane and sodium borofluoride and ether. Similarly, diborane can also be obtained by the reduction of boron trifluoride with another strong reducing agent, that is lithium aluminum hydride in ether. Please take the notes. We will get lithium aluminum fluoride plus 4 molecules of ether. This is lithium aluminum hydride, a very strong reducing agent which donates hydride ions. This is sodium borohydride, which is again a mild reducing agent which donates H- ions.